Alright, who recognizes this? We're going old school. This fertility idol from Indiana Jones looks pretty amazing, right? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't make it. I don't know how to add real gold to something like this, but Myron does, and I'm gonna turn it over to him to show you how he made this. Let's do it. Since Myron's gonna be helping me bring new stuff to the channel, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell like school's out, because you'll want to catch all of Myron's future builds that'll help you up your cosplay and prop game.
Hi cosplayers, I'm Myron Burnett, and I do lots of things with Cosplay Apprentice, but most of it is behind the scenes. However, today, I am going to build a prop. It comes from a classic movie favorite of mine, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I'm that old.
The Golden Fertility Idol makes an appearance early on in Indiana Jones, and that's the thing I'm going to make today. I'm going to 3D print the idol, and then do a gold finish on it using real 23 karat gold leaf. I've never done gold leafing before, so come, follow along. Let's see how this goes. First thing to do is to get the pattern. I go onto thingiverse.com, look up Fertility Idol, find the sculpt that I like, and then download it. And tip the designer.
Because that's the nice thing to do.
Next, 3D print it. Click print, walk away, come back when it's done. Next, just get rid of the dissolvable filament supports by dunking the idol in water for a couple of hours. Then, it's ready to fill and sand. I do an initial sanding, but you can see that the layer lines are not going to sand away easily. A good coat of filler primer will help me fill the gaps and hide the layer lines. And with that, now the sanding should be easier. You can see what a difference it makes in the smoothness. The final looks should be convincing enough that you would believe it was handcrafted by some jungle native craftsman, not 3D printed from the depths of my basement. Now, I can still see some layer lines showing through on the inside of the mouth and on the underside, so I'm gonna add another layer of filler primer. Then, sand some more. Now it's looking much better. I think I can start with the gold leaf. I've never used gold leaf before, or this specialty glue. It's made specifically for applying gold leaf. Mix it up 50-50 with water and brush it on. It has a really cool iridescent look as it goes on. You've got to give it 20 minutes or so for it to get tacky, and then we're good to start applying the gold leaf. This is genuine 23 karat gold leaf, and it is super thin. So a sneeze could easily cost me $5. As soon as the gold leaf touches, it sticks. I use this rounded brush to help apply it. Applying it is easy, but all of the rounded shapes on this idol make the squares come apart quickly and unevenly. I was thinking it would all go on in full square patches, but it quickly disintegrates into small, scrappy, patchy pieces. In the end, the pattern or method you use to lay it down, I suppose, doesn't really matter. Once the gold sticks, you can't distinguish any of the edges of the material. But then... So I got most of the way through putting on the gold leaf finish, and maybe it's because I'm a stickler for making something look right, but not just look right, feel right. If it's something I feel that somebody's going to handle, then I really want them to feel like it's a real experience. For instance, I had done a DL-44 Star Wars blaster, Han Solo's blaster, and I had 3D printed it and did the paint job and everything looked amazing. But then when you picked it up, it didn't have the right heft. And so I wanted to redo it again in a real metal. Well, it's kind of the same scenario here, where I've got this wonderful 3D print. I've put the gold leaf on it. But if you pick it up, it doesn't feel like real gold. And maybe I'm just weird that way, but I want this to feel heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom of this, and I'm going to see if I can carve out the 3D print material that's inside it, the structure that's inside, and we're going to see about maybe filling it up with resin or something that will give it some weight. So first, I have to cut into the bottom of this without damaging my gold leaf. This Dremel cutting wheel should do the trick. Now that I'm inside, I have to break out all of the inner support material. I use tough PLA filament, and it is really tough. There's no way it's all coming out. But if I can break holes into it here and there, then maybe the resin will flow down through it. I thought I may get 4 to 5 cups of resin into it, but I ended up with almost 8 cups. The byproduct of the resin curing is heat. And I was afraid with all of that resin that I might, well, melt down my idol. At one point it got too hot to touch and there were mini volcano eruptions coming out of the pour top. In hindsight, I probably could have backfilled a lot of that empty space with nuts and bolts. But the next morning, I came out into the shop and found it cool and mostly intact. Now, this is where I realized something, and that is that gold leaf hides nothing. If I were to spray paint a coat of gold paint, the thickness of the paint would probably be enough to hide these lines, but every detail and flaw shows through with gold leaf. I'm going to have to sand down my resin pour spout and primer over all of my existing gold leaf and start it again.
Okay, it's done, and I'm super happy with it. But I have a problem. I need your super cinematic skills to help show our fellow cosplayers how it turned out.
Okay. Yeah.
You can lend a hand?
Sure. Yeah. No
Yes.
problem.
All
Let's do it. All right, so while we're getting this ready, if you haven't heard about What the Foam, you need to go check out our video where we used it to tow a truck. Okay, it's strong enough to tow a truck, but it's flexible enough to take a curve and make amazing helmets. It's designed specifically for cosplay to help you up your game when it comes to your cosplay armor and props. Go check it out, you're gonna love it. It's available on Amazon, link in the description.
Thanks for subscribing. If you liked what I made, give this video a thumbs up. And, as always, cosplay on, my friends.